Shalom, family. It's good to see everyone here. Um, I'm going to play a little music so I can give people time to come in. And this is one that you haven't heard yet. So let me share my screen. This one's called Yah's Covenant. Just get this. Shalom to everybody in the chat. Shalom. Okay. All right, let me refresh you. I don't know why it's not playing. Okay. All right, y'all. I froze. So I had to go out and come back in. Hopefully, everything will work this time. All right, here we go.
From the garden to the wilderness, from the tablets to our hearts. Yeah, I made a covenant, and he never broke it. I was scared, I was low. Didn't know the path, didn't know where to go. But he reached down, wrote his name on my soul. Now I'm walking in a promise that's ancient and bold. He remembered what he swore to Abraham and more. Through every generation, he opened heaven's door. I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Yah's covenant stands through fire and sand. He wrote it with love by his own hand. It can't be erased, it won't be replaced. We're sealed in his truth, in mercy and grace. Yah's covenant is forever true. Yeah. Not a contract signed in ink, but in blood on wood at the edge of the brink. He said, I will gather you from every land, put my laws in your heart, not just stone in your hand. We broke it, but he still came through. The lamb was slain, now the chosen renewed. From the garden of Eden to the crown of thorns, the covenant laughs and the kingdom is born. I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Yah's covenant stands through fire and sand. He wrote it with love by his own hand. It can't be erased, it won't be replaced. We're sealed in his truth, in mercy and grace. Yah's covenant is forever true. He keeps his word, he won't forget. Every tribe, he's not done yet. We're coming home, we've seen the sign. Covenant sealed, it's redemption time. It's redemption time. It's redemption time. It's restoration time. Restoration We're time. Written in the book. We're called by his name. Yah's covenant lives, it's alive in me. It opened my eyes, now I truly see. From the mountain top to the valley low, wherever I go, his promise goes. Yah's covenant, I will never let go. He keeps his promise, he keeps his love. Yah's covenant from above. He hath remembered his covenant forever.
Okay, y'all. You know, um, the illegals are trying to come to me and make the accusation because of my name. I am illegal. And I have explained, and I will explain again. So here goes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my last name is Cabrera. When I was not married, my maiden name was Thomas, Thomas. My present husband, he has an Afro Latino father. Okay. Um, he was as dark, he's no longer living. He was probably as dark as Sammy Sosa. Before he bleached out his skin, he was that complexion and had woolly hair. His mother is a descendant of slaves. Now, it gets real deep with his father because when he was still living, he was telling me about growing up in Puerto Rico. He faced racism and it was pretty bad. So bad to the point where he never went back. Once he came to America, and got away from there, he literally never went back. And he considered his wife's side of the family, my mother-in-law, that was his real family. He really just disconnected from that place altogether. But he said he caught hell because he was such a dark man. He caught hell growing up in Puerto Rico. So that's where the name comes from. But, everybody looks black around here. That's all I got to say to you. Everybody around here look black. So, try again, trolls. Try again. That's all I got to say. One thing you can't do as an immigrant, you can't change my DNA into something else. So you can go ahead and believe what you want. Your words will never change who I am. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, oh yeah, the Afro Latinos catch hell, you know. Um, and he said that's what happened to him. And it was just he never went back there. He came here, I think in the 70s, and he never ever stepped foot back on that island once he came here to mainland America. There's actually some Puerto Ricans here. You just don't see them. They always show you the light and bright ones, but there are a few that have come over here to America. I mean, because they're American citizens too, just like the whole island is. There are some, not a lot though. Many of them tend not to leave. Mhm. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about California. California is reporting that they are going through. Share my screen. They have deported, and between the deportations that are going on and people leaving on their own, California is already seeing a change in their population and their economy. So it's so noticeable because of ICE presence in California right now. A lot of people stop going to work in California. So a lot of Latinos that work for DoorDash, they stop doing that job. Their hospitality industry, hotels and, housekeepers that work in hotels, or the Latinos are working as housekeepers, a lot of them stop showing up for work. Okay, so it has hit all kinds of industries. Recently, I was looking at, and I think I mentioned this before, in Nebraska, they had back in June, they had a huge raid on a meat packing plant. And in that meat packing plant, it was all illegals working there. And they did a clean sweep. I think they had, like, during the day, 70 employees, and they took all of them. They took every single employee, to the point where production literally shut down. A lot of these people work in, stores, they work in fast food restaurants. A lot of the restaurants that had them hired, y'all, said they stopped showing up for work. So the restaurants are not able to do business anymore because they lost everybody. So that is not something that's just happening in California. It's just right now because ICE has a big presence there. It seems to be worse there than other places, but you can best believe it's happening all over the country, where these folks just stop coming to work. They said even with construction, because a lot of illegals do construction, and a lot of them stop showing up for work. Mhm. Oh, Haitians left Purdue. Yes. Yes. Do you know, Bob Marley, when he was alive, he lived in Delaware for a while, part of his life, and he worked at a factory in Delaware when he used to live in America. So, yeah, I mean, I do believe that. So, let's get into the story. I just have this one video to show you because we already know the farms are suffering everywhere. And this is just one more recent video that came out. I'm gonna show this. Can everybody see my screen? Please give me a 1 if you can. Thank you.
Do you know where your fruits and vegetables come from? Over one third of US vegetables and also three-quarters of fruits and nuts are grown in California. Did you know that? Well, right now in California, because of all these ICE raids, 70% of workers are gone due to workers being afraid of the ICE raids. 70%. And in an article I was reading on The Guardian, someone in the business said if 70% of your workers don't show up, 70% of your crop doesn't get picked and can go bad within one day.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. Um, in California, those crops had sat there for so long, they're not even you can't even harvest them now. A lot of crops have been lost in California alone. So you're not even talking about other states, which means you're gonna see less produce because these folks are not out there picking the vegetables. And, it just goes to show you, Donald Trump is a very reactionary kind of person, and I don't think they thought this through. Is just like, grab everybody and get rid of them. So, California's population shrank. So, the biggest demographic, of course, are the people that came across the border and right now are being deported. So, the Trump administration, California's population decline in part of immigration. And, it's just like he said, people are in fear of showing up for work. And you're talking about every industry, not just farming, every industry that these folks work in. And they're saying right now the state is at economic risk and the forecasts are not looking good for California. So the key sectors that many of these illegals worked in was hospitality and construction were really big ones, laborers, people that do your landscaping and things of that nature. They're all virtually gone. They are gone. And they're saying, those things were major drivers to California's wealth, which has been greatly disrupted because of the ICE raids. So now they were asking the average undocumented worker in California, usually once they go and work on their farms, they've been there for a long time. They're saying some of these owners are saying these workers have been there 15 years. But see, I got a problem with that. How the hell are you here for 15 years and you never tried to become a citizen? So they worked on the farm for 15 years and never tried to do things legally, not even once. It just kind of not make you feel sorry for them. How do you feel bad for somebody like that? So anyway, average person on the farm that's undocumented been there 15 years? Damn. And you sat there illegal all that time. Wow. So they're saying more than a quarter of California's population was born abroad, double the average standard. Yeah, because they're right by Mexico. So I would imagine it would be big in California. Nearly half of California's children were born to an immigrant parent. More than half of California immigrants are naturalized, which Donald Trump is in the process of taking that away. Now, they're still trying to say they're only going to go after criminals, and we haven't seen them do that yet. They literally are grabbing everybody. So another big thing that's going on in the country, y'all, they are wiping Latinos out of the system. So if you got a Latino name, they're wiping you out. So when they go to run their IDs, nothing comes up. So in the case like myself that have my last name, they said all I would have to do is show my ID and my social security card. And that'll trace because when you get your social security card, your parents' name have to be on the application. My parents are both descendants of slaves. So once they trace it back, that's how you identify yourself. If you do have a name like mine, similar, um, and I watched a video last night. They had stopped a man, and I think he had one Dominican parent and one American parent. He had to give his social security number, and he gave the cop his ID, and the cop just put it back in his hand and said, "Thank you. You can leave." So I guess if they can find you, you're okay. But if they can't find you at all, you are probably more than likely will be deported. And they told him, "You can thank ICE for this. We wouldn't have to look for you, but this is what ICE is doing." So right now, let me tell you what cities are being hit the worst. They said the cities that are getting hit the worst because of illegals being detained and deported. California, we know, Chicago, New York, because so many people are being removed from those cities, they are seeing some economic changes in the cities. But, hey, those things are going to happen. Those things are going to happen. So either the federal government will help these cities out that are feeling the pain, or the cities will just collapse and go bankrupt. So California said they are literally down 1.8 million people that were undocumented. And Texas dropped to 1.6 million, and Florida 1.2 million less people. So, y'all, yes, I mean, think about this. In about 4 years, when Donald Trump is done with his term, this place is going to look very different. It's gonna look very different. And I don't think any of us can even imagine how different this place is gonna look. Yeah, but ICE haven't been out there, Damon. They only been out there for a few months grabbing people. So no, it wouldn't be bigger. I mean, that's about right for the amount. I mean, think about it. They just started grabbing people and going real big on it back in May. And this is what? The beginning of July? Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's gonna take some time to get bigger numbers. It hasn't been that long. Mhm. Yeah. So, let me just go back here. So, I guess what they're looking for now are domestic workers, people that are willing to fill in because they don't have to fill these positions. I'm sure, things like DoorDash and these hotels don't want to go under. So they're going to have to hire Americans or at least somebody that got one American parent, you know, because it's going to be a lot of businesses going under if they don't do that. Now around me, I have not noticed, but there's not a lot of Mexicans that live in the part of New Jersey I'm in. When I do see them, it's it's very rare. You know, most of the sanctuary places are more north of me, and you will see them there. But around where I am, you don't really see them. So I really won't notice that big of a difference, to be honest with you. I guess if you're in some place like Los Angeles where you see a lot of them on a regular basis, you'll probably, over time, will start seeing a difference. Well, see, that's why many of those businesses hire them, Keeson, because they don't have to pay them a lot of money. But see, a lot of these businesses are angry at Donald Trump because if they got to hire Americans, they're going to have to pay more money. And that was what they were trying to avoid in the first place. And y'all notice they never go after the business owners. They don't go after them at all. But I know why they don't, because most of them are white. Most of the business owners of these undocumented workers, they're white. So they're not going to mess with them. So, y'all, I'm going to come back a little later because I got another chat GPT I want y'all to hear. I punched in there, um, or ICE also grabbing illegals from European nations. And I got to let you hear the answer. I got to let you hear this answer because the answer was something I did not know. All right, about these Europeans that come here. But I will definitely tell you that maybe I'll have it like around 2:45. I just got to set things up so that you can hear this answer. It it was just something in there that I was not expecting. You don't have any around, Share Girl 100? Yeah, I mean, it really depends on see, a lot of them are not up here because I think they don't like the cold weather. I really don't think New Jersey is one of these places that get extremely hot in the summer, and it gets cold in the winter. And I think a lot of them don't care for the weather, so they don't tend to be here in huge numbers. They are here, but not like in places like California and Florida, and those places, I would imagine you would see them a lot more often than somebody like myself. Mhm. So I now, look, y'all, if they're good jobs, y'all get down there and grab them jobs up, just like in Nebraska where they took them out of that meat packing place. A lot of those meat packing companies pay good money. You brothers go down there and grab up them jobs. When you hear about a raid like that at a meat packing place, y'all go down there and get them jobs. I'm serious. Magic City Enterprises 305. Thank you for the super sticker. You brothers go down there and get them jobs. I mean, the super chat. I'm sorry. Let me read what you wrote. Lisa, Chat GPT said it is a 99% chance the earth is flat. Oh, really? It's some interesting answers that come out of there. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I'm gonna get around to everything. See, what I was trying to do in the very beginning is get to the stereotypes that they like run around saying like they have higher IQs and smarter than everybody. Yeah, well, and I got who got the better skin, whose skin is better and more suitable for this earth. And of course, it said it was us. It said we were. So yeah, we'll get around to everything. It just takes time. They got a lot of stereotypes on us, but we will get around to everything. Spicy, introvert, they should prosecute these business owners for hiring illegals, but I think because most of them are white people, they won't do it. That's my opinion. They should. I absolutely agree, you know, but they won't do it because most of them are white business owners that are hiring these illegals. Zion's daughter, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you. And I think that's why they just won't go after them. I mean, look at all these white farmers that got illegals, working at their farm, and these illegals, because I watched one video and this man was working there on I think he was on like a tractor, and this white farmer was like, he's been with me for 20 years. And that just goes to show you he was able to work there for 20 years without anybody bothering him. And he was saying on there he didn't know from day to day who was going to show up and who wasn't. He lost so much of his workforce. But again, he's a white farmer. So who's going to really bother him? Nobody's going to bother him. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? I worked with some people on my last job, y'all. I worked with some people that were from Canada, and they were working in the US and they weren't supposed to be here, but they had jobs working in America, and they lived in America. They were illegal. But because they're white and they can blend in, nobody bothered them. I worked with a couple of them that were Canadian, and they were working in New Jersey and living in New Jersey. So it's a lot of them. Believe it or not, it's a lot of white Europeans here that are illegal. And one of the biggest places they're from, y'all, is the UK. It's a lot of white Europeans from the UK that is illegal here in America. A lot of them. There's a lot of Canadians too. They make more money. They'll even tell you. I worked with 2 people that were from Canada, and one of them told me she was illegal. But she had an apartment, she had a job, and she was living in America. I think back when I worked with her, she was in America for more than 10 years. And it didn't she didn't get questioned on nothing. Yep, a lot of Irish, but they said the biggest was the UK. A lot of UK. And and the reason why a lot of white people are over here from the UK is because the Muslims have pretty much taken over. I don't know how much y'all been keeping up with the UK, but the Muslims have pretty much taken over the UK. Seriously, they flooded in there so much. They are now dominating in the population over there. So many have come from the Middle East, and they have made the UK their home. There's a lot more mosque. There's a lot more of them, population wise. They are reproducing a lot more than the white population there. So a lot of the UK has turned Muslim, y'all. And the same thing has happened up in Canada. I know they don't talk about it a lot, but even the Canadians have been invaded with a lot of them. Mhm. But yeah, the UK is very different from what it even used to be like 20 years ago. It's so many Muslims there. They damn near took it all over. But they said the reason why they are doing that to them is because, the UK is also another country that went around colonizing and invading everybody themselves. In fact, all of these white nations, they have done this. And the US, they're deporting people because they're trying to stop it from happening here. They see what's happened in Canada and the UK, and they're trying to make sure it don't happen here, where you don't have this new massive invasion. And I think, that's how they feel about these Latinos. It's too damn many of them. And, to the point where if they keep coming and coming, they can easily overtake the country. So they're trying to push as many of them out as possible. Mhm. Yeah, well, this is America's fault. You were the ones that opened up the floodgates. Biden act like it was the whole time he was in office when these people were coming over the border by the millions. He act like it was no problem. And we saw the videos, the criminals and shoplifting, and they were robbing places and doing all kinds of stuff on video. And the cops wouldn't even arrest them, or they would arrest them. They would be in jail for about a day and then they would be released. This is America's fault. Y'all created this whole environment that's going on right now. Mhm. Well, that anchor baby stuff, that is the biggest scam they had coming. They said these Chinese women, I was reading these Chinese women, they come across because they come across that Mexican US border too. They wait until they're practically 9 months pregnant and they come across the border and drop their babies. So they now have a baby that's a US citizen. And they said that is big among the Chinese. It's huge. But they all do it, even these women coming out of Latin America, they'll wait until they're about 8, 9 months, and then they come across the border and drop them babies here in the US. Mhm. Yeah. I mean, like I said, even after the 4 years, there's still gonna be some here. It won't be as many probably because of the policies that Donald Trump is about to put in place. It won't be as many, but you can best believe they're still gonna be here, y'all. There's still gonna be some in the land. Not unless the Most High steps in. If he steps in and do something catastrophic up in this place, which he probably could, he can run a lot of them out of here. Even the ones that never thought they would leave, they would be out of here. The Crawford experience, thank you so much for the super sticker. Okay, I think, yeah, that's all of them. I just want to make sure I got everybody. Well, they were. That's what Donald Trump is trying to put a stop to. You know, I don't know why immigrants keep getting on, but they're still getting on videos saying that they can get rid of the 14th Amendment. And, the bottom line is since the Constitution has been in existence, nothing has been taken off of the Constitution, not one thing. Look, they won't even take off the Constitution that we're three-fifths of a human being. Even that's on there. It has not been done, not even once, where they struck something off of the Constitution. They have never done it, ever. Mhm. So what Donald Trump is saying is, the way he interprets. Now remember, we're in the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment on the Constitution. And Donald Trump is saying, according to the way he's interpreting the amendments, even their anchor babies don't belong here. So he's trying to put things in place to discourage them from being here and making it impossible for them to even work here. So that's what he's doing right now. Remember, in July, 28 states are going to simultaneously take rights away from these people. 28 states. That's about to happen at the end of July. I think it's like around the 28th of July. So it's about to all hell is going to break loose this summer, y'all. And don't think for one moment we're going to be sailing through this thing and not see a lot of drama unfold. We're going to see a lot of drama unfold this summer. We absolutely will, you know, and it won't impact us. And I got another video of Donald Trump talking about these illegals. He is not one time has he been on video saying descendants of slaves and he's going to get us out of here. He hasn't said it one time. He's only talking to the illegals. You know why they're doing that, y'all? They're trying to get us on their side. They're trying to get us out there protesting and rising up against the government. That's what they're trying to get out of us. But we absolutely don't have to join them in nothing because we're not immigrants. But they need our energy. That's what they need. They need our energy and they need us there physically. They want to throw us on the front line while they scurry around, in the background trying to stay safe, and we take all the bullets and we, lose our hearing with the flash bombs and, flash bangs and everything. See, that's what they want. They want to throw us on the front lines, and we ain't doing it, especially for them. You came over here all hateful and nasty towards us. Ain't nobody going out there for you now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, when you hear about them getting thrown out of these companies, and my brothers that need work, go up there and fill out them applications and get hired wherever ICE is raiding. Yeah, get hired up there for real. Yeah, we've been a katas and everything, haven't we? And then the Mexicans all over TikTok. Why can't we use the N word? I'm gonna keep saying the N word. I don't care. Okay, well, that's why we're not gonna join you. Don't ask us to join your ass in anything. Mm. Yeah, and I heard there was a video I was watching. There was some people trying to hide folks from ICE, and some businesses were trying to turn the lights off like they were not open for business to hide their illegals. I'm not doing that. Okay? I'm not doing that because you can go to jail for harboring them. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that. I don't think that's a good idea. Wouldn't you be committing a crime if you did that? I ain't hiding none of their asses. I'm sorry. Then you break the law and they may lock you up for hiding them. I wouldn't recommend that, but I seen that some people were trying to do that. I don't think that's a good idea. I really seriously don't. And if you go to jail, an illegal can't get you out of jail. I just want you to know that. Somebody that's here illegally, you go to jail because of them, they cannot physically get you out of jail. So you better think real hard about that. You folks that are doing it, you better think real hard about what you're doing. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Be on the lookout. I got a couple of videos that I'm putting together right now. And, some of our people keep getting immigrants coming into their comment section talking about they're going to wipe out the 14th Amendment and we're getting deported too. And they are addressing it. So I'm going to show you those videos. They are really telling their butts off for real. Don't worry about them, y'all. They have to wake up every day and look over their shoulders. That's something I absolutely don't have to do. So, y'all enjoy your day and just be on the lookout for over the next couple of hours for I'll probably do maybe two more live streams today. So, I will see you then. Shalom, family.